you 5 minutes for your comments on this point.
Nderuar koleg, Shqipëria ka hapur negociatat dhe sigurisht që procesi i integrimit është ndoshta I vetmi proces që bën bashk
Albania has opened its negotiations, and the integration process is the only one that unites the government and the opposition parties, regardless of which of the parties has been in government and which has been in opposition. What puts us aside as an opposition party is one that turns Albania into a European country, or a process in which Europe closes its eyes once Albania meets only some minimum projects. Albania held parliamentary elections on the 11th of May in a climate which, unlike what the government reported to you here, none of the OSCE-OD recommendations had been implemented. And this means that from one electoral process to the other, Albania only moves backwards. I do not intend here today to speak in the capacity of a witness of the 11th of May election or as a member of the opposition. I will only mention here what the OSCE-ODIHR has said. There is no progress. There's only as a matter of fact, moving backwards, which means that there is only a minimal improvement. The OSCE-ODIHR report says that the elections were held in an utterly politicized movement where the two sides did not have equal access. The party in power made use of official resources and institutional capabilities, including making public a day before the election day the number of fines that were being written off. In addition to it, a number of officials took active part in the campaigning, blurring the line between the government and the party. There were several numbers of intimidation of members of the opposition, as well as use of networks of controlling the intent of the voters, which is in direct confrontation with international standards. Other issues have to do with vote buying, intimidation of the vulnerable voters, as well as the use of criminal elements within political parties. Candidates reported instances of intimidation. A number of people who spoke to the observers of ODIHR highlighted the issue of the police behavior in the tackling of electoral crime, as well as issues of organized crime and its links with the politics. And what I'm adding here is of a personal nature. On the 30th of April 2025, 11 days before election day, that is, the Special Court against corruption issued 52 arrest warrants against one of the worst drugs criminal networks operating in the area of Durrës. For 20 days on earth, police delayed the execution of these arrest warrants against this criminal group, regardless of the fact that the opposition had been denouncing these same individuals and their involvement to help the party in power. It was only after the conclusion of the election that measures were taken to implement a decision that was issued on the 30th of April 2025. The main leaders of the group, of this criminal group that helped the party in power and who were operational during during the election, during that time managed to leave the country. And this is to illustrate the fact that not only did the government not take any action against these criminals who put lives in danger, but delayed a court order that had demanded an arrest warrant and the remand of more than 50 of these criminals. To return to the ODR report, there were a number of negative assessment reports due to the fact that there was pressure on the voters. Irregularities included a number of incidents of intimidation as well as an intervention by the party political appointees who were as observers. The secrecy of the vote was compromised time and time again because of the logistical layout of the voting booths and overpopulation. I have been reading the ODR reports over election monitoring in a number of candidate countries to the European Union, and I have not been able to find a single instance where the OSCE has highlighted the issue of the equality of parties taking part in the electoral process. The only similarity was to be found in a report over the elections of Albania in 2015, and even that was a remote similarity. The only similarity came with the election in Serbia in 2025. I don't think that Albania should be approximated with Serbia vis-à-vis the organization of election, but it should be compared to the European Union. There will be no progress against corruption and organized crime, or in order to make it possible for Albania to progress towards the European Union. With